On a quiet evening, in a cozy little home, a young girl sat curled up between her parents. Her heart was weighed down by something she couldn't quite put into words. She had been holding it in for days, a small vagament question, sawing gently at her spirit. She whispered it at last.
Can one person really make a difference?
Her parents smiled gently. They exchanged a glance, the kind that spoke without sound. They knew exactly the story to tell. They told her about a girl from long ago, someone just like her, someone who wondered the same thing. They told her about Esther, a girl whose courage changed everything. Esther was just a young girl, an orphan, living in a land that was not her own. She had no crown, no power, no voice, and yet God had a purpose for her. Even the smallest voice can echo across history, and so Esther's story began. Long ago, in the grand empire of Persia, lived a girl named Esther. She was young, quiet, and hidden in the shadows of a world that didn't even know her name. An orphan, raised by her kind cousin Mordecai, Esther never imagined her life would lead beyond the quiet walls of her home. Then came a royal command that shook the kingdom. Search for a new queen had begun. Though her heart trembled, Esther was among those chosen to appear before the king. Among them all, it was Esther who found favor. Her grace was seen by every eye, and in time, by the king himself. She was crowned Queen of Persia, but her heart still beat for her people. But even as Esther settled into her royal life, a dark shadow crept across the land. Haman, the king's advisor, burned with hatred toward Esther's people, and he hatched a plan to destroy them. He convinced the king to sign a decree, one that would spell doom for all the Jews. When Mordecai learned of the decree, he tore his clothes and wept bitterly. He sent word to Esther, begging her to go before the king, to risk everything and plead for their lives. Esther trembled. She knew the law. To approach the king without being summoned meant death. But Mordecai's words echoed in her soul. Perhaps you were born for such a time as this. She bowed her head and whispered a prayer, not for safety, but for courage. And then she rose. With trembling heart, Esther wrapped herself in royal robes and prepared to do what no one dared. She walked the long corridor where life and death waited at its end. No one moved. The guards froze. The courtiers held their breath. She stood before the king, knowing that one breath from his lips could mean her end. But then the king raised his scepter. She was not only seen, she was welcomed. Esther invited the king and Haman to a banquet, not once, but twice. And there, with boldness, she revealed the truth. She revealed Haman's wicked plan and her own identity as a Jew. The king was filled with wrath, and Haman's plot was shattered. Because of Esther's courage, her people were saved, and her name remembered forever.
And as the story faded into silence, Rachel sat still. But something inside her had changed. She whispered the words again, but this time not with doubt, but with hope. And in that quiet moment, she believed the answer was yes. One person can make a difference. There will be moments in your life when fear feels louder than faith. But just like Esther, you were created for something more. You don't need a crown to have courage. You don't need a throne to bring change. All it takes is one heart willing to say yes to God. Thanks for watching, Little Spark of Faith, the story of Esther. If the story inspired you, help us share it with the world. Like the video, leave us a comment, and don't forget to subscribe and tack the bell so you never miss the next Spark of Faith's animated Bible stories.